Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweaker Man video. So here we have our mini monitor boxes, which I'll explain more about in a minute, sitting on these speaker stands that I've produced. Now these speaker stands are totally produced from scraps out of the studio, loads of bits of plywood. So starting off at the top there, we have a piece of 25mm birch ply. And then underneath there, well, I'll explain the rest of it in a minute. Let's just take a look at it as we go down. And here we go. There's the base part there. Now, I was going to do a video and showing you how to make these, but I've been so busy this week and I needed to get them up because if you've noticed, the other speakers have gone. So the Russ Andrews Quave LS ones have gone. I sold them on eBay. They never fetched as much money as I thought they were. Last year, a set went for £750 for those. And these ones were pretty mint. And only got $410 for them. And after eBay took their £60 out, only got $350 for them. But hey ho, that money went towards building these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the box off the top, and I'm going to turn these over and show you how I've assembled them. So here we have it. So a little trick that I've done on this, okay, is to put a cork gasket under there, under the top plate, and this plate here, there, and the top plate. There's a full cork gasket. It's around about 4mm thick. Actually, it could be thicker than that. Actually, it could be around about 6. And also down the bottom here, between the plate on the bottom and this plate there, there's another cork gasket exactly the same size underneath. And what I've done is I've just trimmed them off with these bits of beading that I had laying about in the studio. Now, why I've added those? Because they help to absorb vibration as it comes through out of the speaker and down the stand, and then it's obviously going to be dispersed underneath. Now let's turn this upside down and I'll show you what else I've done to it. So this is the underneath of the stand here. So what I've done is the base plate there is 18mm marine ply. Now this stuff is absolutely solid. It's rock solid. It's so tough. And I've crisscrossed some sections there. Then I've added these round beech blocks on the corners, which are going to have a dome on there. And then obviously I've sanded them up well and everything else. And then they've got to be polished. So I'll be doing those tomorrow. I thought I'd show you these before I do the polishing. So I'm going to just match them with the rest of the units in here and the speaker itself. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is just do a false grain finish on these. Now these poles here, I wanted to use those because when my dad got ill before he passed away, where it was about a year or a year and a half before he passed away, I had to fit in some handrails up his staircase so he could get up and down the stairs. And I thought it would be a fitting tribute to use these. He had a stair lift fitted after. So what I did is I took these away and I kept them at the workshop at the studio there. And and I've incorporated these into the speaker stand. So there's 3 of them there. And these speaker stands are extremely solid. I've really screwed them up and glued them up really well. So, and they do sound really good. Because I'll tell you why they sound really good in a minute. Even though I haven't tried these speakers on them yet. Because I've not finished these speakers. And as you can see, once they're polished, they're going to look absolutely amazing with these speakers. Now, I was hoping to have the tweeters through, but there's a little dilemma with the tweeters, which is interesting because they came from Germany and so did the woofers. So the woofers came out to around about, I think the two together, the woofers and the tweeters, came out to £410. But obviously the tweeters were slightly more expensive than the woofers. They came out to around about 210, I think they were, and the tweeters, the woofers came out to. I mean, I think the tweeters might. I don't know. Anyway, the bottom line is the woofers turned up fine. Through Parcel Force in the UK, they turned up, and then all of a sudden I had the post come through, and the tweeters. There was just a letter that came from Parcel Force saying that I had a customs charge of £48. Anyway, so I had to go on and pay that. But it wasn't just the £48. Then they wanted another £12 on top to deliver them, which worked out to £60. So I inquired about this, and the reason I've had to pay that is because we are no longer in the EU. So thank you, Boris Johnson, for that. You've just cost me another £60 on a speaker bill. So for all you Brexit fans out there, that's just great, you know. So that's just a, you know, a thumbs up to anybody that's ordering anything from Europe at a certain price. Now you're going to have to pay a custom charge, because I never did before. I've ordered loads of stuff from Europe and never paid a customs charge. So that's that. But so I'm going to show you something else in a minute. I'm just going to turn these back over. So here we have my son's monitor audio Raiders 90s sitting on these with the Soundshen Super Tweeters on top. Now I've been since the Russ Andrews speakers went over a week ago now, I've had no music at all. So my son Charlie has said, oh, you can use these for a bit. So I've just wired those up. They don't sound too bad for what they are. They're very small monitors, and the sensitivity on them is only 83 dB. So you've really got to crank up the volume on the quad preamp to get a decent volume. But these mini monitors are up here that I'm building are going to have a sensitivity around about 90 dB, so which will be better. Now the Russ Andrews were very high sensitivity. They were around about 97 dB, so you only really had to touch the volume on those. But what I noticed on those is with this quad 405 preamp that I'm using, it's even when, so I always leave the amp on full the whole time. I never turn it off. It's just, there's no on and off switch, and it means removing the plug down there. And I hate pulling the plug in and out all the time, because all these plugs are plated, and the plating starts to wear off over a period of time, so we don't do that. But what I noticed with the Russ Andrews speakers is there was quite a high hiss coming through the speakers all the time. You could hear it all the time. You could hear this hiss. Even it was like an audible hiss when you're just sitting here and the system wasn't even on. All what was connected was the power amp to the speakers, obviously. And now with these, there's no hiss at all, obviously, because the sensitivity is very low, and these are going to be higher, but they won't have that hiss. So that's going to be interesting. So I don't know where any the rest of you have noticed the hiss on high sensitivity speakers at all. Let me know in the comments below. So I think that's it. They look really smart, considering made from scraps from the studio. And once they're polished, they're going to look stunning. They look really good. And they'll what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something on the top of those. Yeah, I'm not sure, either some balsa wood domes or some cork domes or something, just to decouple the speaker slightly from the stand. I don't like it just sitting directly on top. I like to have a slight little gap there, and that'll be good. I just want to show you something else as well. So I've finished making the badges for the stands. There we go, Tweaker Man. I hand draw these every time. In fact, I do it just with a black marker pen, one of those Sharpies. Now, when you look very closely, they are very slightly different, but I've got quite good at it now. So then I heavily lacquer them, and they come up really nice. So they'll be going onto the stands just down the bottom there. I'll have one of those on there. And then I've got to make some for the speaker grills. So I've got the speaker grill cloth coming as well. And I'm just sorting out at the moment the crossovers. So I've got a company that have got a crossover that works perfectly with this setup. So I've supplied them with the details from a crossover calculator, and they've already got a set that fits perfectly. Now, I either use those or I go to RS Components or another electronics supplier that's going to supply me the parts to make it myself. So I'm just thinking about at the moment. Now, you'd thought that most people, I think, hasn't he got those speakers done yet? But it's just time. It's getting time to do them all and that. And the wife's on my case as well. My wife doesn't like audio. She's not interested. She doesn't like hobbies at all. She's not constantly on my case about it. So I will be finishing these. They're probably going to take another couple of weeks actually, but at least I've got something to listen to for now. And when these are cranked up, they do sound actually quite good for what they are. They are nowhere near as good as those Russ Andrews, nowhere near it, and nowhere near as good as the Monitor Audio GS10s that I had. And it's funny because the Monitor Audio GS10s, they sounded really good, but there was something about them that weren't quite right. And the Russ Andrews, they sounded really good as well. And in my living room, which is quite a size, they sounded fabulous in there. The sound stage was amazing. In here, the sound stage was really good, but there was something about it that just wasn't right. And I thought they deserve a bigger room. So they went off to a guy called James on eBay, and he came and collected them from the Audio Scrooge's workshop where I was that day, because he was going to come over to Leighton Buzzard, but he was quicker to get to Watford. So I said to him, I'll take them to Watford anyway. So he's picked those up, and they're going into a nice sized room in his house. He said he had a really nice big room. I think it was for a second system. But yeah, but you know, these obviously are not as good as those two speakers, but as a speaker that costs around about, at the time when these were new, when I bought them, and then I gave them to my son, I used these as a surround set with the GS, no, not with the GS10s, with the old silver, Monitor Audio silver, I can't remember the name of them now, but I used these as a surround set for watching films and all that. And but they do sound quite good. I'd love to play you them, but copyright and that. Every time I seem to do videos with music in them, I just get a copyright strike and then they get taken down. So I don't really bother. I don't know how other people get away with it, but I can't seem to. But yeah, so this is going to be a nice project. I'm going to get these polished tomorrow, and then I'll finish them off on Tuesday. I'll show you them in another video on something else. I've got another video. I've got several videos coming up, so I should do an unboxing video on the tweeters. And they was meant to come on Saturday, but because there was a strike, a postal workers strike, that affected the delivery of them. So I mean, I don't mind, doesn't bother me. I'd rather see people get decent paid than me receive my tweeters on time. So anyway, I think that's it for this video. So I hope you like these stands. They're just made of scraps, and they've got a piece of my dad in them as well. So and that cork, I'll show you the piece of cork actually. So when I'm out and about, I always look out for stuff, and I'm constantly looking out for little bits. So I was out and about today in Aylesbury, and I was looking about, not today, yesterday. And this was a cork placemat. Now actually that's about 6mm thick, I think. And I've glued these all on with PVA. Works really well. And that's it. So, and then when you feel when you got the speaker playing and you feel the column here, you can't feel as much vibration going through there. Now you would on metal, you would feel it. That's why you fill them up with sand. And then when you get to the bottom here, you can hardly feel any vibration at all going through there, because it's just cancelled out by the pieces of cork. So anyway, I'll stop waffling on. So all I've got to say now is thanks for watching another Tweaker Man video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a like. Don't forget to press that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. And thank you for watching, guys.